Welcome in, everybody. It's time for a brand new adventure for the Osu team here. Welcome to the first stream for the Lazer Grand Arena, our first 1v1 event here. Of course, I'm Azer. Today we're joined with members of the pooling team to go over some of the qualifier pool, as well as explain the format a little bit, because there's a lot of experimental stuff here. So how's it going, everybody? How are you doing, Chiv?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hope you guys are excited for this pool. One of the first Lazer tournaments, so hopefully it goes well. But we've done some pretty cool stuff, so hope you guys enjoy.
Of course, we got the old man, Dada.
Guys, what's up? I can't wait to see things really progress and have stuff that's really just experimental being thrown at the wall and see what sticks, because this is a great experience for that.
And on top of that, we also have pretty much our main playtester, I would say, in Bubble Man. How's it going?
Main playtester. I get Enrique on everything and say it's okay.
Yeah.
It's alright. I'm excited to actually be part of this. I'm really interested to see how much Lazer can grow as a tournament platform.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, we have more or less the same pooling team from OWC itself here as well, including some other members that obviously aren't here today. Who we need a list from, but if you want to inquire about that, it's always on the wiki. We're just going to go over a couple of the format changes here, because the event itself is using a lot of very unique things that we're trying out. One thing that we focused a lot during the announcement is, of course, it's going to be using cumulative scoring, which means, you know, if you're winning a map, you're not up 1-0, you're going to be up by whatever your score on that map was, and that's just going to keep going until the end of the tournament, or at least until the end of that match. I don't think we've had many attempts at doing something like this before. I don't personally know of any major tournaments that have tried to use cumulative scoring anyways. I don't know if you guys do.
I mean, kind of the most similar was UKCCX that used like a HP system, but that's not cumulative scoring, that's just minus HP. And it was more like Swiss rounds, so you wouldn't be out until your HP was 0, even if the match ended. So I don't know. This is probably the first, at least, big tournament of its kind. I'm interested, again, to see how this pans out, because laser scoring is a lot different. I don't know how it's going to translate, but it should translate nicely.
I think that's one thing that's pretty important for... It's hard for people to understand this unless they've really played a lot of Lazer, but laser scoring is different. This is not Score v2. A lot of people made assumptions on how this would work, you know, based on if it was Score v2, or if I've seen a lot of comments about the pooling might not work for this kind of thing. But of course, when you keep it all in mind, maybe it'll work. At the end of the day, this is very experimental, so hopefully it does work, and we can continue doing some interesting stuff with that. As for the rest of the pools, the event is going to last 3 weeks. So today we're going to be showing off the qualifier pool, and after that there's only going to be 2 pools being played for the top 32. So we'll get to those when we happen to get to those. But for now, just quickly talking about how the qualifiers are going to be played, since this is going to be on Lazer after all, it's in the name. We're going to be making use of playlists instead of refereed matches, as people are going to be used to, which means that if you're an entrant here, one of the 140 players that are going to be trying to qualify for this, you can play your lobby whenever you'd like, from this Sunday to the next Sunday, anytime. That's how playlists work. It's pretty great.
Yeah, as soon as it's live as well, you can play it completely out of order. One of the good things about playlists is that if you want to play a map as you would pick it in the tournament itself, you can play that map first. You can set your score on that first, and then use that momentum to go on. So it's much more like playing a tournament match compared to a normal qualifier lobby with a referee that goes no mod 1, no mod 2, no mod 3, no mod 4, etc, etc.
I think that order being really whatever you want it to be makes a lot of the picks that would necessarily, or normally I should say, be very odd in terms of order. Like, normally you have like a low AR hidden, and then it's followed by a high AR hard rock, or like a speed map DT, like disconnected from the stamina maps, and that like really messes up your skills, and like you're really just exercising one skill and then going on to something completely different right after. And this will probably make it so that people can actually just play skill blocks essentially, where you test out your tapping, you test out your aim, you test out your reading, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think most interestingly, another experiment that is going to result from this is normally the qualifiers, which is going to be 11 maps in total. Normally you just play through the pool twice. This time, since it's in a playlist, you just have 22 plays in total. You can allocate them however you'd like, as long as you have one play on any map. You know, I'm sure we're gonna be seeing some interesting results from that. Maybe someone retrying the same map 6 times or something. I don't know. That's a possibility if you'd like to do that. But I think that's gonna be enough for this one. I think we could probably start getting into the pool shortly here. Whenever we're good to go, we can get into No Mod 1. And a quick thing to mention while we work on getting there. This pool is going to have no customs. It's all going to be featured artist map for the most part, and all existing maps outside of 2 new originals at the end that the third placed and the grand finals players are going to have to sight read on the spot. They're going to be revealed in match.
The return of sight read pick from OWC 1.
Back to the roots.
Back to the roots. It was the first map in that match, though. Why can't we make it the first map in these matches? You know, keep the tradition. Quote, tradition.
Alright, so moving on to the pool now. I mean, I think for the most part, this pool, since it's qualifiers, I guess it's going to be a little bit more, you know, traditional format, right, Chip?
For the most part. It does get a little crazy midway, but still generic at the very start. So this is going to be sticks from Ryusei Aika. Going to be some high BPM, no mod aim. Very standard. Pretty short actually for consistency pick. So we'll see how players do on this. Honestly, I feel like Ryusei Aika's like really versatile as a mapper. You know, people really think that he's like kind of a like heavy gimmick mapper now, but he can pretty much do everything, and this is no exception.
Yeah, this was a No Mod 1 for like a different, particularly high profile tournament in Core 6 players. So it just happened to be feature artist, and you know, it's good. It's good that it was already done, so you didn't have to scour it too long. It's also a ranked map, so some people that even didn't pay attention to that tournament can probably just recognize the map anyway, because it is decently popular, it is decently comfortable, and quite a normal skill set to have, so...
Yeah, for sure. You want to comment that also? Yeah, it is around 7.4 to 7.5 star pool. So qualifiers are going to be pretty hard, and it's going to be scaling up around 0.2 to 0.25 per week. So tournament isn't going to be ultra skill cap like you've seen in other 1v1 tournaments due to the nature of how it works, but still should be very challenging for the majority of players regardless.
Yes, absolutely. The scoring system, it is a little bit more lenient towards the lower end of scores, unlike Score V2, which you're traditionally used to seeing in tournaments. The lower end of scores on normal laser scoring is higher.
Yeah.
Even like a struggling pass would usually get 300k, 350k around there. Meanwhile,
600k is the new 300k, pretty
It
much.
pretty much is, yeah. If you see loads of 600 to 700k scores, that is essentially you can play this quite competently, but you're missing 3 or 4 times. Seeing 850, 875-ish is a 1 miss right in the middle, so that's the new 600k. You can see it squashes a little bit as it gets back up to the top, in exactly the same way that Score V1 or Score V2 does. It's going to be really weird calling Score V2 the old score system.
This is now Score V3.
To think back to when Score V2 was introduced, like, ugh.
Yeah, that was
almost 10
an
years
interesting
ago.
time.
Well, that was
bit
World Cup
under.
2015.
So long.
Yeah.
There's one thing to mention while this is playing that I didn't get a chance to talk about. One more thing we're doing for qualifiers specifically is removing your lowest score from your qualifying result. So essentially, out of 11 maps, only your top 10 maps are going to be counting towards where you place. That's also a new experimental thing we're trying out. Helps a little bit with, if you have a weakness that you'd be banning in match normally, well, now you're not really penalized for it in your qualifying. So that's a pretty interesting new thing that I'm hoping to see lends itself well here, because I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Essentially, if you drop a Dookie on Hidden 2, then it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's fine.
Many such cases.
Many such cases.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're trying some things in this tournament that might be implemented in OWC later on, just like this qualifier scoring removal system. So hopefully it pans out well, and we can look towards kind of modern, making the rules more modern for this as OWC, just like double ban and other stuff. So it's exciting. Thank you to Jackson for the replay, and yeah, next up is gonna be Lux by Kiwis.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of Jackson in this one.
Yeah. So
he went on that pool like immediately.
I think Jackson has 7 replays or something.
Yeah, he went hard.
That's the Jackson.
Right, it's gonna be some 200 BPM stream map. I don't even know how to pronounce the artist name, so I'm not even gonna try.
It's like Kardashev, yeah.
Probably.
Don't quote me on it.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, the pools as a whole, not only the qualifier pools, will be completely made up of featured artist songs, and that isn't like a rule set that's trying to make its way onto the other World Cups just yet, but it is just an experiment to see how we can manage with just the featured artist lineup we have.
But it's a nice challenge for you guys.
Sometimes it's a nice challenge, sometimes for specific skill sets it's a little bit tougher, it's a little bit more annoying, but
like
we
like
what?
Which skill sets is the least maps for that you can find anyway?
Stream maps, they have length problems usually. So a lot of our metal artists our power metal artists are just usual stream map songs. They are too long, for like 5 minutes plus, or they have BPM problems. A lot of speed maps have a rough way really existing, or a rough time really just being a fast map that's not on DT. So that has a couple problems as well. But as the featured artist lineup gets more and more padded over the years, these things tend to change. Like, we used to have problems with No Mod 1 back when we tried some featured artist pools before, but now there's a lot more artists that can have songs in the featured artist library that can be made into No Mod 1s, and nobody would really bat an eye. Like, nobody's like, oh, this is false.
That's also because you're moving away from like the pure aim only type No Mod 1s.
Yeah. No longer do we have to specifically tell an artist to just not incorporate any 1-4.
Half beats only, please, thanks. Just want to point out while we're watching this map that the act drops in this play really cool. They're all coming from slider ends. I think there's 3 slider ends that have been dropped. So it is a lot more important to keep your accuracy high on the circles, but slider ends do have an effect. It's not trivial.
Yes, those not used to laser might have a hard time actually seeing the accuracy drop, but there's a little X, very small X that
just
shows
a
up when
clean
you
600 dB as well.
When you miss the
kind of see
slider.
there on the result screen, drop 3 slider ends at the bottom right. Yeah.
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 So that was 0 100s, right? And usually slider ends would appear as 100. So you can actually pick apart what you did in the play. If you got 100, you'll see 100. If you miss the slider end, you'll see that you missed the slider end. It's a lot.
That's actually
clearer.
just normally in SS in Score V2.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you'd still get 3 100s from the slider ends.
Oh, that's true, because they weren't well,
They were the slider ends.
Are those because they're mistimed, or is because
No,
they're
it's
actually
because
dropped slider ends?
You
right?
dropped slider
You
ends,
drop
yeah.
slider ends.
Okay.
And usually in Score V2, it's
Right, that would give
ambiguous
you
whether
50,
you
yeah.
got 100 or whether you dropped a slider end.
Hey, the rhythm game anthem.
Rhythm game anthem. Number 3 gonna be Conflict by YFDMP, very famous Chinese mapper. This is gonna be kind of gimmicky ult. There's a lot of overlap reading, which makes it definitely more tricky to sight read for sure. But the patterning is pretty unique, so I think it's pretty exciting.
Can I ask what the lyrics in the storyboard are?
I've never seen the storyboard before.
Storyboard is actually crazy in this map, I'm not gonna lie.
I never noticed.
That's amazing.
It's just different.
System of a Down lyrics.
But well, this is definitely not a sight read map. Lots of really tricky pattern. I mean, this isn't new by now, but if this is for some reason the first time you see this map, yeah, lots of unnatural rhythms being played here. YF is mapping a lot of really like background elements of the song that you would not think to emphasize. So it's pretty tricky to play for the first couple times, but it starts making sense pretty quick. One more thing to comment on regarding Lazer is, you know, the kind of the removal of note lock and how that affects a lot of, you know, a lot of what the perceived difficulty of maps are, right? Things that on stable, you know, you would miss once and just completely die and you know, note lock forever, are suddenly a lot more playable on Lazer, right? There's a couple of examples of these maps that we're going to be using in these pools, so I think it's something that people should definitely be aware of.
Absolutely. Streams and just general flow patterns always used to have this issue where people would have to make it really high OD to remove the no lock element, and even then, sometimes based on the BPM, they really couldn't. But on Lazer, I believe the note lock is made it. It's not completely removed, but on maps that are relevant to tourneys, difficulty-wise, it's basically removed.
Okay, so
it's
2
very
points.
likely.
Unfortunately, it's doing really well until that point. But note lock acts as like a barrier. If the next note is in its hit window, you can hit the next note. So it won't note lock you out of notes that you can hit. But if you cannot hit a note, it will still note lock you out of the note that you could be hitting. Also, there was a big like slider stream, buzz sliders section there that is really easy to hit on Lazer. In fact, it looks really disgusting. If you tried to play it on stable, it would probably kill you. But the leniency in sliders now means that you can just tap it like it's a stream, and you will probably hit it. The way that slider head accuracy has been introduced, being slider head accuracy and not just the accuracy on or the result of a slider, you do need that slider leniency. Otherwise, you'll just be getting hundreds trying to hit the buzz sliders early. So that's a good compromise.
There's actually so much that goes into playing on Lazer, just purely because that note lock thing is gone. That just changes so much about how you play the game. It's actually crazy. Like, if you're experienced playing stable, you kind of know, like, subconsciously how to recover from, you know, if you miss something in a stream or something, you're gonna start over-streaming, right? Like, you don't have to do any of these things in Lazer, so, like, you have to play very, very differently if you're not used to it. And that also kind of shifts the balance of where, you know, difficulty for those elements actually stands for us in pooling as well. So, like you said, I think that slider stream's probably the most notorious element of that, where it's just extremely easy on Lazer, whereas in stable they're very frowned upon. We from experience, we very willingly try to exclude those as much as possible from our pools in standard on stable, because, you know, they're just not a good experience on stable. But here, everything's different.
Yeah, it's instinctual, and all of a sudden you have a completely new set of rules where those instincts no longer apply. And it'll be interesting for some people that are partaking in this tournament, which are used to stable, to see how they actually deal with that. Because a lot of bad habits that were formed based on very obscure mechanics that stable has are now just invalid.
Moving on though, before this map ends, so we got Novot 4 here no control. This is a pretty unique map to have in this position normally, right?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's gonna be the precision aim map of the pool. Very short and very control heavy. CO6.8. A little bit of kind of like stop and go patterns. So we have to kind of like lock in on this like control precision type of thing. So I think it'll be pretty enjoyable for players.
You don't have to agree with this one, but you know, this is a speed map.
Oh, it is.
What?
It's a speed map.
He gets it.
The streams are so dense.
He gets it. He gets it. All right. On to hidden one.
Yeah, only 4 no mods for these qualifiers. There's gonna be 11 maps in total, but we're contrary to OWC. I think on OWC sometimes we have no mod 5 in qualifiers, or at least maybe we are going to. Spoiler alert. This one is only gonna have 4 no mods and 3 double times. However, once we get there, we're gonna make use of rate changes. Actually, so they're not going to be double time. You can kind of consider this pool to have 7 no mods and 3 of them have rate changes.
Oh, we're just spoiling things now.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna hold on to that, but okay, we're just gonna say it now then.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's fine.
We gotta give them something to look forward to. Come on.
They can look forward to this beautiful next map. Riot by Ife or Fairy. Gonna be the tech map of the pool. Obviously, no more for being precision aim. Gotta put tech somewhere. So there's gonna be some heavy control side attack made by none other than one of the most popular Canadian tech mappers currently.
This voice chat has too many Canadians per capita.
Oh,
I think we gotta stop exalting the beauties of Canada and just start to talk about all the bad
Exalt
things.
the beauties of this map, though.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, Bobo, I'm pretty sure you're one to talk for the amazing patterns in this map.
Me?
Yeah, you love this map, don't you?
I do actually quite like this map, but I just keep missing the easiest stuff in it. It's good though, there's lots of cut streams, there's lots of technical rhythm stuff. Also, yeah, the buzz sliders, the slider stacks, you can just hit them like they're normal streams. It's a lot more of an act test now than it was.
Also, I think this is the first score where we can really experience the differences between Score V2 and Lazer. Where we saw a couple misses at the start, we saw a miss just before the break here, and we're still at 500k, and it's gonna become even higher. Like, this is gonna get up to like 700k, and a little bit even above, so it's hard to get used to if you're an avid tournament watcher, but it is this way in Lazer, and for our purposes, which is cumulative scoring, this actually lowers the gap a little bit. If we did stuff on Score V2 and the way that score system scales, it would be a lot more unbalanced in terms of just like skill sets that someone was good at and someone was bad at. Like, the gap would be insane.
I don't think I'd be comfortable using that scoring system on Score V2. Which in a way that's why I was mentioning at the start, it's a common piece of feedback. I think if that's all that people have to go off of with their experiences with Score V2, I kind of get it. I would agree. But thankfully, the score system is very different, so.
isn't the map done?
Yeah,
The map's done. We can.
It just has a remake story.
Shout out to Savari. 0-100 play, which is kind of crazy. Just a bunch of misses.
A couple of slide runs as well, I think. Yeah. 7 slide runs? Am I reading that correct?
You can really see the divide in accuracy, though. Like, you can hit a map pretty much perfectly, and if you drop slider ends, you drop some accuracy. If you miss, you drop some accuracy. But you can see you weren't mistiming anything, at least mistapping anything.
Now for one of the big dividers in
Am I
qualifier
right
mapping.
in saying this was the most difficult map in the pool to pick? Like, to actually
Yes.
get a good pick in the pool for?
So,
I think so, yeah.
this is low AR hidden. Many people are familiar with this
7.5.
concept. It's AR 7.5, and often at this star range, so like we're currently at a 7.4 star range essentially. Low AR hiddens, they tend to be made specifically for tournaments and specifically for certain high-profile tournaments. So it's often very difficult to just pull in general because it'll be a map that everyone knows, everyone's familiar with, people are mind blocked, whatever. So finding this map was very tough.
For sure. To talk about the map a little bit though, yeah, Ukigumo by Lude. This kind of the pattern, awkward aim, low low AR pick of the pool. So most importantly here, map is kind of like you either can play this really well or you can't play it at all. Like I've been hearing this map is one of the hardest maps in the pool, and also I've been hearing people say this is the easiest map by far. So it really depends on the type of player you are. If you're okay with these, you know, kind of memorization overlaps and just overall high density reading.
This is where the lowest score mulligan comes in.
Yeah, I was gonna
Completely
say,
flip.
yeah.
Mechanically, it's not that intensive. Like, it's only a 5.8 star map if you consider the star rating system. But the perfect stacks and all the density that you have to keep in mind while playing, and just having to read all the different 1-2, 1-4, triples, quads, like points in the perfect stacks. It's a lot to keep track of in one map, and it's very likely that we'll see a lot of those one map mulligans in this.
I think this might be the most common. I don't know how you want to word it. The most removed map from their qualifying scores.
Yeah.
It's
Mitigated.
gonna be everyone's lowest score. Yeah. Or the most people's lowest score.
I don't know. There's a couple of the maps in this pool that I think could be difficult for people.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are binary skill sets in this pool still.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get it air 8, this map is not that hard for you now. So.
Good map. Too. I enjoyed this map.
On to Hard Rock 1, which is a bit of a throwback pick. Kind of a classic map, I would say at least. Maybe not for the other people in the call. But
Yeah, I mean,
It's classic.
classic enough.
it's a classic, yeah. Okay.
The classic for me.
Alright,
fond
that gets
memories
the
of this
pass
one.
then. Re-End of a Dream by Battle. This is gonna be some 210 or 212 BPM mechanics pick. A lot of aim, a lot of flow, a lot of side control. This map is pretty much everything.
Speaking of rhythm game anthems, this is also quite a common rhythm game pick. We're very lucky to have it in our feature artist library, and it's just a very mechanics heavy pick. Has a couple of rhythm sections, a couple of more tapping oriented sections, and just has an overall layer of aim over top of all that. So
Such a great rhythm game track, to be honest. It's like just 2 minutes length, and you know, like constantly like energetic throughout. A lot of different rhythm changes. Like this works on pretty much any arcade game. Name it like Chuni, Mai, like you can play on and Osu.
It's done the world tour, yeah.
by the way, the stats you see on the bottom right, just a quick side note, these are actually a skin element in Lazer. So they're using the map's original settings, not the adjusted hard rock settings. So
That's right, yeah, it's not gonna have hard rock.
This is CS 5.2, OD10, AR10, HP 8, 7 point something.
I actually wonder if they're gonna show for rate changes, since I don't know, maybe we'll see.
Maybe not AR, but well, you can still extrapolate that data.
Yeah, the Laser client actually shows the AR, the specific AR that's going to have on specific rate changes. So if you do adjust it using the DT mod menu, you can see the AR, the BPM, everything that's going to have. So it's a nice little feature to have, even if you're not necessarily going for the qualifiers here. Just in general, if you're playing Laser, it's a great feature to have when you're practicing and working on your speed and mechanics and so on.
Yeah, good luck on that last one, dude. That pattern is demonic.
It kind of is, isn't it?
It's in a good place though.
Just at the end. Thank you to Jackson again. And on to Hard Rock 2. This is a different type of classic.
I
think
mean,
some people-
someone in the call is gonna
Oh, that's for sure.
consider this a classic. I don't know if that's too much of a spoiler. I don't know how well people know.
This is I don't know. Players do know of him. I think it's definitely like a mapper bias thing.
I'm gonna stay silent. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there he is.
Gonna be Midori
it's
Queen Bee.
Midori Queen Bee, yeah. This is the primary example of showcasing the new laser note lock mechanics. So this ordinarily is like a low BPM stream map where on stable, if you miss once, you are very likely to miss a lot before you can get back to the buzz slider or a stacked part of a stream. For Lazer, you don't need to worry about that. You can just play the flow aim as best as you can, and if you miss, nothing really changes. You can just keep playing and adjust as needed. And yeah, this also the mapper here. Can I just say something? The mapper here, IG Queen Bee. He just maps those streams so well, and to be honest, we miss him a lot. Like, he was a overall energetic presence in the Russian community, and just in general, we miss him a lot in terms of his presence, his energy, and his mapping. So rest in peace.
Yeah, I think overall still a very really great and engaging map, and as we talked about it before, definitely much more reasonable on Lazer for this SR due to the no lock feature. But I think that people who are familiar with this map know how many kind of the different style changes it goes through, from mainly a flow map from the first half to a kind of slider tracing section on CS 6.5 at the beginning of the second half.
Oh man! Last time I played this a lot, I was trying to grind this. That last circle there goes back in on itself.
Yeah,
that catches me.
That's
so
not
many
the killer.
times. Right before the break too.
If the other precision pick was more of an aim-centric, pattern-centric precision pick, this is a lot more flow-oriented, as you can see. It has a couple of slider aim sections, but most of the time it's just flow, precision, really just have your dragging movements very right, and like the movement speed of your cursor, just have it be very precise, otherwise you will miss.
Mari's kind of killing this, no?
He's really good.
This is not the Mario replay.
No, it's Savari.
Be the Mario League.
Hey,
Yeah,
I was about to say, like, Mario never doing this ever. Not anymore.
that's so toxic.
Free shots for what? What did Mario do?
Ruined my Minecraft session yesterday.
I see.
Oh yeah, this part of the end here. Would you call this a bit of a spike? I think.
A couple of these
it brings
are,
together everything in the.
Yeah,
Oh, these end
it's a good
spinners.
It's a good section to really bring everything together.
Yeah.
A couple of the patterns are actually a little bit easier than usual. Like the cut streams, the cut doubles are a little bit more friendly, I find.
But yeah, the overall spacing at the end is a little higher for like the last like 2 or 3 full patterns.
Also, here's a good opportunity to showcase laser spinners.
This
The
is
bonus is different.
Wait, did they get
have
all
a max-
the bonus? Oh no!
Yeah, the bonus
Oh,
is
they
different.
missed
and there's
out
a
on
max
almost
bonus.
30 spinner bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be Hard Rock 2 onto DT1. Another even more probably popular classic map. Debatable. Actually, is it debatable?
I mean, yes. No, that's not debatable.
It's not debatable.
It's not debatable. No.
First example of making great use of rate changes here, even though we're moving on to the DT pool. It's not technically DT. We're going to be playing this at, what is this one? 1.6, I believe. There it is. 1.6 EOS.
This is supposed to be an aim and burst map, kind of like, you know, your DMB speed, but it's at like 280, and it's a AR 10.5. The map is super short, and this is a skill that so many players are really comfortable at, so it shouldn't be too challenging. Is this really is this 11T storyboard?
This is 11T
Yes.
storyboard. So once again,
Interesting.
another member of the community gone too soon.
Absolutely.
But very beautiful map. People are really familiar with not only the storyboard, but also ROC. Really clean mapping style. Definitely a pioneer. But I think people should find this pretty standard.
So,
Speed players are missing aim, and aim players are missing speed.
do you want to
Yeah,
discuss
pretty
how
much.
1.6 as a rate change changes the stats?
Yeah.
So-
well, I don't know the exact calculations.
It's roughly AR 10.5. Do you have the VPM numbers on hand?
It was like 280.
It's 280. It's roughly OD10.
That
Being
seems
very
right.
generous with that though, because it's OD8.
48. Normal 1.5 times, it's like 9.7, so yeah,
Yeah,
10
roughly
sounds about
OD10.
right. Yeah.
Anyways, good score. First replay that's not Savari or Jackson. Thank you to
brand
Weiryan
new,
for the-
brand new member here, Weiryan.
It's like the opposite of brand new. This guy's ancient. Came back to the game recently for fun. But he's still got it in him.
And now we're going back to Jack.
And
Yeah, he just like ripped 7 replays in a row, pretty
Yeah.
much when it was confirmed. Or the
He's
pool was
goated.
confirmed.
he should have tried to qualify.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't.
Alright, I'm glad actually as well now.
So was this put at 1.5?
Yeah.
Yes,
Normal
yeah,
DT.
Normal
Yeah.
DT.
So
Well,
we had
have
this
a-
at 1.4 earlier, but every stamina player said it was the easiest map in the game by far if it was at 1.4.
Yeah. So this is a map I'm personally familiar with. This is a old, I believe, CPMC custom. So
Yep.
the map Maniva, very experienced mapper. Usually maps low star stuff, so they chose to map a DT2 that's a little bit more in their wheelhouse, and it's just a good map in general. This has normal DT scaling, so it's AR10, it's OD 9.7, it's HP. Doesn't really matter.
Those
But-
tiny 8 kick sliders as well. We keep coming back to the differences between Stable and Lazer, but it stands to be mentioned that they are so much easier to hit. You don't have to hit them early. You don't have to like clench when you see them on your screen. You can just play them like a normal circle. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yep, and since Niva specifically is a very big fan of those aesthetically, so a lot
Yeah.
of their maps have just gotten like very DTable very quickly.
There's also probably the other map that will be removed from a lot of people's scoring. Could imagine that it's just
Yeah.
if you can't play this at all, you might be just dropping 100k. So hopefully, speak out players don't feel the poor two mechanics demanding. You have your normal
These
two,
slider shapes, man.
It
and
is
you have
it is
DT1
so
and
much
DT2.
it's so much harder to actually get 5-digit scoring on Laser. If like I commend you if you manage to only get under 100k.
Oh, don't! I could prove you wrong like right now.
Okay.
Like, let's see
I
how
can do
this
this
map
on
goes.
this map.
Okay.
Like,
Let's see how this
literally
map goes.
as we speak.
I
Alex,
love
are you
like
dropping
a
through
micro
for
aim
this?
control on this. I don't know. Probably 200 or something with this scoring system. Probably around 200k.
If I try my heart out while double tapping, 150.
I think all the features will be listed out on the wiki at some point, or on some form of like it won't just only be on the showcase. Pretty much, this is just the introduction.
That's
But,
another
thank you to
600 that Jackson's dropping as well.
Oh, he's doing it all.
Oh,
Got the No Mod 2
that
and this
score
one.
that score is higher than my top play, I think.
I mean, his No Mod 2 score was 667.
Famously
he's just
tied with United.
he's pulling some work.
All right, the last map in the pool. And quite fittingly, we went from 1.6 then to 1.5, and now we're at 1.4.
Some DT alt tech. Well, not even alt tech. It's like thing against for now.
Fly tonight.
Good song.
Have fun pronouncing that one in a hurry.
Yeah. So, pool had enough tapping, so DT3 shouldn't feel too demanding for the majority of players. It is 195 BPM, so if you're like ultra slow, that this might still be pretty tricky. But it's not like historically ultra slow players have had a very high chance of qualifying in 1v1 tournaments regardless.
Oh, I come from a time where they did. I come from a time where Badu and Yokespy were terrorizing 1v1s.
No
Yeah.
pulling speed ever.
So 1.4 being around about... I've got calculations that I need to find. There it is.
It's 10.1, I believe?
1.4 at AR9 is
Like,
around about 10.29 or 2.27 or something. Oh no. Yeah, it's 10.15. That's it. 10.13.
Yeah.
Like-
Like 9.5-ish.
I could imagine 7 years ago when Badu and Yokespy are terrorizing 1v1 tournaments, the pools are 6.5 stars and No Mod 5 is Roger limitation.
Hold
And Hidden 2 is AR8 and nobody knows how to play it besides the people who actually, the
No,
5 guys who play
listen,
tournaments.
Raga Limitation was like a 5.5 star map.
It was. It was below 6 stars, definitely. Or it was around about 6 stars.
Nowadays, like, speed of link, the easy difficulty is like 6.7. Just don't get it.
It's inflated.
Yeah, this is a very tricky premier control map with a couple of interesting, like, transitions.
Yeah, there's
This
these
can
quads
be-
which are a little bit more bursty. It shouldn't be too tricky.
It can be
We had another
very
map that's
tricky.
easier to play in Laser, arguably.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the kick sliders, the 1.6 to 1.4 transitions, where you can easily get note locked out of the 1.4.
Yeah,
Like-
and I think that people also notice that people did talk about will we be seeing like larger changes, like 1.25 or 2. We'll see, but it's gonna be interesting.
No promises for now.
Seat 1.2? Anyone?
People can do
you're
that
ready for it.
1.5 now.
Raga limitation 1.5.
Rogue 1.6.
By the way, I don't want to be quoted on this because I'm not 100% sure, but since No Fail does not have that like reduced modifier that ScoreV2 offers, you know, No Fail ScoreV2 doesn't affect your score. No Fail does have your score in Laser, so I wonder if anyone's gonna fail anything at any point. We're gonna go back to
believe-
a time where fails don't count.
I believe laser HP is even more lenient than
Yeah.
usual unstable, so
It's not much more lenient. You can still fail really quickly, but
yeah.
just be careful of sliders, be careful of the general things that will kill you on a stable run.
Don't drop your pen.
It's just that note lock won't kill you now, basically, so it feels more lenient because of that fact.
All right, well, those are all the 11 maps of the qualifier pool. 2 things to remind you if you missed the start of the stream, because they are pretty important if you are a player or trying to enter and qualify into the tournament. These are going to be played in Laser playlists. You have 22 plays. You can allocate them however you'd like. You can play Hidden 2 once or 7 times and forego your replays on other maps. Your lowest score is going to be removed as well, so essentially only your top 10 out of 11 maps are going to be counting towards your qualifying score. And that's about it. You have this Sunday up until the next Sunday at, I believe, 19 UTC to play your lobby. And as for us, we'll be back here again an hour after that. So next Sunday, 20 UTC, to talk about the results and show off the next pool, which is going to be served. Only the top 32 players are getting in. They're going to be playing 2 matches, single elimination, to determine the top 8. So they're going to be playing that on the next pool next week. Quick thing as well. We usually have some sort of hub, some sort of Discord server for the players and stuff like that. We're not going to have that up until the top 32. If you have any issues with anything, please use the announcements feature in your DMs on your website, or just speak with Leo directly, if in case there's anything with scheduling. But there's no refs. You can play your lobby whenever you'd like. So feel free to do that. And I don't know if you guys want to add anything else on top of this.
That's all for me.
Yeah,
Look forward to
you guys
seeing how this
watching.
all pans out.
just have fun. Hopefully, you guys have a good experience on Lazer with the playlists. And remember, since this is very much a testing tournament, it's very much essentially an open beta of a tournament. Report any issues you might have, and we can use this tournament to make it so that Lazer tournaments in the future have a better experience, and that we ourselves can actually run this tournament a little bit better. So, yeah.
Yeah, keep a note of the quality of life stuff for playlists, for multis, for just general Lazer stuff. No, solo doesn't really count for this, but anything that you come up with that would make it better, would make it easier to use, is always a good addition, always a good thing to say something about.
All right, well, thank you for your time, everybody. This seems like a good point to send everybody off. We'll see you next week for the, I guess, the next pool showcase, as well as, we'll get to find out who gets to even play in this thing. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.